Three, four, five. Everybody just talk to come on, hey.
Podcast. Two guys talking without wearing pants. Pantless podcast. You can take our ideas.
Welcome back to the Pantless Podcast. Here's your host, Austin and Travis. Take it away, guys. What's going on? Twitch people.
Hey, Twitch. We are doing something different.
Yeah, we're
The
trying. Hey, we're
Yeah,
trying this out. We're gonna fail somehow.
we might.
My interwebs is still doing the same thing it was doing 2 weeks ago because I still haven't figured out a way to fix it, but it doesn't seem to be affecting this any. So
Here's a better question. How do we look? How do we sound? Who is out there on the interwebs watching us
I don't know
that
how
can... Nobody? Nobody. Okay, that's fine. But that one sounded perfect, so I'm sure it was perfect.
We watched a movie this week.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Fantastic movie.
I love it.
I haven't seen it since I was, I don't know, in the single digits of my age.
Oh, really?
It's been that long. It's been that long. And I just really, really appreciate it. The acting, phenomenal. Like, you would expect an 80s superhero movie to be kind of cheesy.
Oh, no.
Fantastic. Like, this was top notch. Top notch. The only downside, like, at the very end, when they tried to put in the CGI for the bat plane, I was like, meh. But I'm sure back then that was fantastic CGI. That was probably, mind blowing. And then it had the TIE fighter sound, and I was like, that's kind of cheesy. I was
wondering if I'm glad you mentioned that. So I'm like, wait, am I watching Star Wars right now?
Yeah, like, I've heard that sound from a craft being piloted by a guy wearing black and a cape and a mask / helmet before. But yeah, great movie. Highly recommend. People don't even know what we're talking about. 1989's Batman, starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
My bad. Jack Nicholson. That guy.
So good.
I'm only laughing on the outside. How did I never... I heard so many things that I don't... I think I always like half watched this movie.
Yeah.
I was paying attention to it this time, and there's so many good... Just good things.
Yeah.
It's
great.
The way I explained it to a guy at work today was it feels like a 30s or 40s gangster movie wrapped in a Batman film.
Yeah.
Kind of had that gangster, like that New York old gangster movie feel.
Yeah, the guys with the guns, but they're in the nice suits and ties. Walking around with their fancy hats sometimes. But, yeah, I'd agree. I could definitely, if there was ever a category in, like, a game that was like, name a gangster movie, I would feel confident saying Batman. And I'd be like, fight me if you disagree.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah, come at me. Let's watch Batman and you tell me it's not a gangster movie.
How
Yeah,
weird is it
great.
to see Billy D. Williams and not a Star Wars movie?
Do you think that was why the TIE Fighter, was that like a little homage to Star Wars? Like, that's why they did it?
It could have been.
And I'll tell you, if this movie, and I know we don't get political, but if this movie was made today, people would be upset that he was Harvey Dent. And saying, it's woke, blah, blah, blah.
Yep. Well,
and you see it, and you're just like, or people just want to be creative with their art.
It's weird, because in the third movie, the one with, would it be Batman?
Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones plays Harvey Dent when he becomes Two-Face.
Yeah,
But it's almost like that's like two different universes.
it is. It is two different universes because
Batman
this one and the
changes.
second.
This one is the
Yeah,
second one. The first two
we're in the same universe.
and then the last two are in the same universe. Because
The last
Batman. What's
Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. What are we talking?
Okay, it's Batman Forever than Batman and Robin, or whichever way they're flipped. But they're
Yeah, I think it's.
but Batman changes, but Robin stays the same character because he's in.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
Val Kilmer and Clooney.
Chris O'Donnell, right? Was Robin?
And then the girl that played in Batman, one of them has Batgirl in it. Is that Batman?
I think Batman and Robin has Batgirl.
And that I don't remember who plays her, but I don't care to really look into it.
It's Silverstone or Silverstein. Alicia Silverstone. Boom.
Okay.
I got it.
I knew you'd get there eventually.
I get there. Clueless, right? We all know her from Clueless.
That's it. Speaking of being clueless, let's go to Metacritic. Let's get into this.
Oh, this seems like a movie that Metacritic would actually really love. Maybe one of the... I could see the acting was so good that they have to give it such a good... Like, maybe the highest superhero score ever. I think Metacritic's going to...
21 critics out of 100.
I think those critics are going to give it an 86. I think they loved it.
Disappointed. 69.
Bull crap! There is no way! There is no way! That is awful. I shouldn't be surprised because critics are idiots, but man, I am surprised. That is insane. Giggity, but insane.
I almost said. So, 929 users out of 10.
They better give it an 8.9.
You were closer on this one. 8.1.
Still, I'm a little disappointed in that. Because this movie holds up very well even today. It should, when it first released, it should have been just on a whole nother level. So I'm surprised. I want to hear what these people have to say, why they gave it that score.
So, critics had 16 positive, 5 mixed, 0 negative. Users had 809 positive, 71 mixed, 49 negative. Words are hard today, by the way.
That's fine.
The Hollywood Reporter gave it 100. This Batman is a stunning achievement, especially through the incredible and unique visualization of director Tim Burton. The film may be disappointing to those expecting a campy cartoon. However, although the more dramatic stylization of this version is its strongest asset.
Wow. Okay.
Tampa Bay Times gave it a 91. Batman is perfect summertime fare. Its secret is levity hidden in a dark and troubled soul.
Okay.
The Christian Science Monitor, we always like to find theirs.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Gave it a 63.
Okay.
It'd be a lot better if it didn't lean exclusively on bone-crunching action for its climactic thrills. And the story continues long after its ideas have started to sag.
What? That is... I mean, people are entitled to their own opinions, but that is wrong.
Straight wrong.
Wow.
There wasn't that much... For a Batman movie, this didn't have that many fight scenes. There wasn't that much...
Yeah.
Hardly
Yeah,
no fight.
bone crunching violence? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So...
That is, wow, wrong.
Your Chronicle didn't review this movie. They may not have been around in 89.
Yeah, we were 3 years old probably when this came out. So, No problem. I'll give him a pass.
Washington Post gave it an 80, and they just said the bat blast of the summer.
Oh, what do some users say? Because they were still a little on the low side, surprisingly. I want to know, like, what was the beef from a commoner like you and I? Common beef.
This Papa Miguel gave it a 0.
Come on, Papa.
What do people see in this movie? Question mark. I saw it when I saw it when it came out when I was a little kid and hated it. Now that I'm an adult, I thought that perhaps I didn't have the ability to appreciate whatever it was that people loved about this movie. So I watched it again. That's a novel. I still hate it. Lol. I don't know where to begin, frankly, because every aspect of this movie, from the completely unfaithful representation of the comic book characters to the cringingly awkward dialogue and perplexing moment-to-moment decisions to the stiff and contrived flow of action, made this one of the biggest wastes of time I've spent in a while. I just finished watching the scene where Bruce Wayne confronts the Joker in Vicky Vale's apartment. Oh yeah, you fanboys know what I'm talking about. And every one of you know when you saw that scene, even your reaction was, and Bruce Wayne did that big cut? Yeah, that scene was confusing. When he, like, broke the vase and it was like...
When he just freaked out?
Yeah, right before Joker shot him.
He wanted to save her, but didn't want to reveal that he was Batman to the Joker. Nothing wrong with that.
This review was in 2012, so...
So, Papa Miguel, tú eres incorrecta. That's all I'm going to say to you, sir. How dare you?
You gotta give it a minimum of 5 just because of the Joker.
You can't give it a 0.
I know.
A 0. That's... I mean, at least the Joker had green hair, white face, and red lips. Like, that's worth a 1.
Yeah.
Batman had pointy ears. That's a 2. What was he expecting?
I don't... I will admit... This... And I froze. Why?
Flabbergasted. I'm losing my faith in humanity.
What was I saying?
I don't know.
I put this one in the same line because this movie and the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie, when I tried to watch them as a kid on old VHS, I always put these in. This movie's too dark to see anything going on.
Right.
I always remember this movie and the first Turtles movie being like mega dark. Scenes where like I don't know.
Literally, like the scenes were dark, but not well lit. Not like, ooh, that's a dark movie. Like, you mean literally, it was hard to see the movie because the scene exactly.
You remember when these movies first came, because this movie is a dark movie. There's not much, when he's in the suit, it's like really toned down lighting.
Right.
I'm like, wow. But I do remember first thinking when I finished this movie, I remember this movie being darker. Like, watching it in HD on my good TV, the lighting was pretty good. It was better. I could see stuff. On the old CRT TVs, on VHS, these movies were almost unwatchable.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why some of these people are hating on this movie. But I wonder how much Common Sense Media is hating on this movie.
Well, prepare to be disappointed. I haven't gone into looking at it yet, but I'm already... So we've got Ed Grant. I'm not 100% sure we've had this person before. Do you recognize that name?
No.
Ed Grant?
Nope.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Ed gives it a 3 out of 5 for ages 12 and older. So already, what are you doing, Ed? He says it's stylish, violent, and dark. It's a superhero adventure.
I really can't argue with that.
Right?
But depending on what it means by dark. And it's kind of dark and broody too, so it fits.
It is a little bit. Let's see. Parents say it's good for 11 and older. I just don't like the new Common Sense Media layout. Let's just jump into pop messages. What do you think? So Ed gave it a 3 out of 5. Said it's a stylish, violent, dark superhero adventure, good for 12 and older. What do you think he would say about positive messages?
Not present.
He does give it a 1.
Ooh.
It says very, and now they've got that new little blurb off to the side. Very little. He says the lines between good and evil are not clear cut, and though Batman / Bruce Wayne are the heroes, their motivations are as much rooted in vigilante justice as the desire to do good, perhaps even more so. That's Batman. Yeah. That is Batman. Vigilante justice.
I will say,
yes,
Batman as a whole is not a good role model. Not a good positive. I mean,
if you're ready to jump into it, let's jump into positive role models. What do you think?
I bet she gives it a 2. Very little.
He gives it a 1 and says very little.
Okay.
It says so Batman / Bruce Wayne is the good guy, which is funny because before he made them 2 different people. He said are the heroes, and now he's saying he's combining them. Batman / Bruce Wayne is the good guy.
How long did it take him to realize in this movie that Batman is Bruce Wayne?
He said he is also shown as a flawed hero, someone motivated as much by vigilante justice as he is by the desire to do good. Once again, yes, that's Batman. Got it.
Summed him up.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. So this is one that I was going to be curious to see what he said. Violence and scariness.
Yes. All of it. I would give it maybe a 3. A tad bit.
Yeah. Ed gives it a 3 and says some.
I said
numerous shootouts, killings, chases, and fight scenes. In a flashback, Bruce Wayne remembers witnessing his parents' killing. The film's first scene parallels this with a present-day child seeing his father killed by a mugger. The Joker kills one victim with a quill pen in the throat and electrocutes another. Batman and Vicky nearly die at the movie's end while hanging from a ledge. Ledge, as in Ledger, Heath Ledger, Joker. Wow. Fights with knives and swords. Talk of the Joker's ex-girlfriend committing suicide. So, yeah, there's some of that. Another interesting one. Sex. That was a 3. Yeah.
All that.
3. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see where we're getting at here.
Yeah. Sex, romance, and nudity.
We'll give it a 2.
Maybe. He says 3.
I don't agree. 100% not a 3. I was being shit.
Yeah. I was thinking.
I was up.
Yeah.
I was thinking 1 and up to a 2 because that's what I thought he would do.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking 1. I would have said 1. I was trying to upscale to a 1 because that one guy, his hello legs, and that's kind of all I got. But I guess there was another scene.
They were in bed together.
Yeah, and that's what he
And,
mentions that right here. He
and there was
says implied. Oh, go ahead.
there was insinuation of Joker and the one guy's girl being together. They talked about it. So,
Right.
what do you have to say?
So he said implied sex between Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale,
Okay.
and in parentheses next to Bruce Wayne he says Batman. That way, we know who he's talking about.
I was curious.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we get confused. Like, okay, I thought that was Batman. Oh no, Bruce Wayne is Batman. Okay, so I'm glad he cleared that up for us. The Joker makes sexual advances toward Vicky Vale. Prostitutes walk up and down a bustling and crime-filled city street. One of them accosts a young boy.
Forgot. I didn't. When did that happen? Was that the very beginning?
That was at the very beginning, which was weird. You notice that were two different scenes. Like the first scene was just like a random, like they got mugged by homeless people, and then the second scene was gangsters came over and killed his parents. Do you think like he made the second one up so he could justify killing the Joker? Or do you think the first one was just a nightmare and he didn't really remember the whole thing because it was so long ago?
I don't even know.
It's a tough one. Tough one. Language. What do you think about that one?
This one's a rough one to read. So there's a lot of late 80s, early 90s jargon that was said that you can't really use nowadays. When was this review done? Does it say when this review was done?
This, not that I can see.
I would give this about a 2.
He gives it a 3.
I figured he would.
He said SOB, the S word, the male D word, and B-tard. So, says some language, gives it a 3. Our favorite category, products and purchases.
All the stars, 5-star.
He gives it a 2. So a little.
I don't even know what this world means anymore.
So, yeah, because sometimes we know that they sometimes will review the movie as, okay, is there anything in the movie? And other times the ratings are based on, the franchise, the merchandising. So you would think if he was going to give it what's in the movie, you would say not present. Or maybe
there was some stuff early, and there was some branding. I don't remember what any of it was, but you could give it a 1.
Right, but if he was going on the other way, like the merchandising, it would be a 5 for sure.
Be a 10 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
So
not Ed. He goes the way you were thinking, but gives it a 2. He says, movie based on iconic comic book hero created by DC Comics, which has also led to the merchandising of toys, clothing, games, and so on. If that's what you're going to review it as, that needs to be a 12 out of 5.
Yeah.
Because
I'm pretty sure
so much.
I'm pretty sure as kids in the 80s, we were already buying Batman stuff long before this movie came out.
Yeah. So, I am... Like, I can kind of understand because sometimes we get confused. What are they talking about? And then if we knew how they interpreted it, then we might be able to get close. This guy, so wrong.
One of these
so
days.
Wrong. You can't give a merchandising review and go, it's a 2. Has anybody ever heard of the Batman? I mean, to be fair, this guy he struggles between remembering Bruce Wayne is Batman.
Yeah.
So this guy might live in a box and has no idea.
Could.
It's very possible. Mind blown.
Fair.
Drinking, drugs, and smoking.
All of it. I give this one easily a 4.
Yeah, you could. He says 2, a little.
What? Wait, what? There was, and then there was the talk about and then they were doing and then what?
You might know of he says there was cigar and cigarette smoking,
Okay, throughout.
champagne drinking.
Yeah, champagne was being drank.
A woman acts drunk with a man after a dinner date, stumbling and slurring her speech.
Sounds like a 4.
2, a little,
Sounds like
just a little.
Sounds like a 3 to 4 to me.
Yeah. All right. So this guy.
This
Don't.
guy.
This guy. Here's what he says parents need to know. Parents need to know that Batman is the 1989 movie starring Michael Keaton as the Caped Crusader. This was the first reintroduction to the darker, more noir Batman instead of the campier 1960s Batman that was the most well-known version. Really? Really?
He's talking about
Okay.
Adam West. He's talking about the Adam West
Yeah.
TV series.
Yeah.
Is what
But
he's getting at.
is he saying that is more well known? I mean, because I grew up watching that show. I definitely watched the Adam West Batman way more than I watched Michael Keaton Batman. But is this guy? Maybe this guy's just old. You think that could be the problem? He's just really old, and that he's used to Adam West as Batman. I was like, I don't understand what they're doing with my hero. Maybe. He said kids watching this movie will see the murder of parents before their own kids' disfigurement. A quill pin jabbed in a man's throat, and another man electrocuted to death, along with numerous shootouts, wild chases, and vigilantism, portrayed in a favorable light. Expect some profanity, including the B word and the S word, cigarette and cigar smoking, and champagne drinking, and a woman acting drunk before an implied one-night stand with Bruce Wayne. The Joker makes sexual advances toward Vicky Vale, and prostitutes walk up and down a bustling and crime-filled city street. One of them accosts a young boy. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let me see if I can get any kind of good. What do we got? Iffy content. Oh, that is the iffy content. Okay. What do we talk with our kids about? Families can talk about vigilantism. Okay. When Batman decides to punish or kill criminals himself instead of handing them over to the police, is he doing the right thing? For younger kids, you might discuss whether Batman acts like a good guy when he dangles people over city streets or kills criminals. Older kids might be interested in discussing real-life instances of vigilantism and contrasting it with what happens in the movie. This version of Batman was released at a time when the most popular conception of Batman was from the campy 1960s TV show. Okay, see, he is. That was his baby, and this movie ruined him. How are these versions of the Joker, Alfred, and Vicky Vale similar to and different from other characterizations past and present? I don't remember Vicky Vale in any other iteration.
I was fairly certain that she was made up for that movie.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Here we go. Okay, parents give it a 5 out of 5, and kids give it a 5 out of 5. There were 32 parent reviews, 132 kid reviews, and their reviewer gave it a 3 out of 5. So, there we go. The people have spoken. 5 out of 5.
Dang right. I don't really know all that much about Batman. I don't really follow Batman canon all that much. And I know that Batman has a lot of small characters that bounce back and forth inside of the storylines.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not one that I've ever heard of. So,
yeah. I don't know. All right, so for all of our new people that don't know how we do things, we review a movie weekly. We pick out a movie, We say this is what we're going to watch. This is what we're going to review this weekend. Do you have
Yes.
in mind our next movie?
Yes. Uh-huh.
All right. What are we watching?
Watching Batman made me want to watch it. Also, I finished this movie and I'm like, there's a movie I have to watch. That this movie reminds me so much of. And actually, looking at it, it was made a year after. Have you ever watched the 1990 version of Dick Tracy?
Probably the last time I watched it was even before the last time I watched Batman.
In 92.
It was probably 92 or 93, and yeah, when I was like a wee child.
I'm sitting here looking at this movie, and I didn't realize the star power that this movie has. Oh my gosh. Warren Beatty is Dick Tracy.
Mm-hmm.
Al Pacino, Madonna, Dustin Hoffman, Dick Van Dyke, Kathy Bates, James Caan, Paul Sorvino, which he's been in a bunch of stuff, Mandy Patinkin.
Now you've reminded me. I was going to ask you, who was that guy? Who was? Can't remember his name.
In what?
In Batman, the Joker's boss, Morrison or something. Who was that actor? He looked super familiar to me.
I had it pulled up. Grissom? That's Jack
Grissom,
Palance?
yeah.
Jack Palance? I don't recognize the name.
Where have I seen him? I recognize that face.
A lot of stuff. He was in Batman from '89.
Oh, that might be where I know him from. Okay.
Tango and Cash from '89.
No.
Let's see here. City Slickers.
Probably City Slickers. I bet it was City Slickers.
He's been in a lot of
That's a good one that we should review sometime.
We should. There's got to be. I'm trying to figure out what he is mostly from, but he did a lot of movies from. A lot of his stuff was like 50s, 60s, 70s stuff.
Okay.
But
so it's got to be City Slickers then.
Dick Tracy has like a massive cast. I recognize 90% of these actors and actresses that are in this movie. Do you know who Mandy Patinkin is, right?
No.
Inigo Montoya from Princess Bride?
Yeah. I thought Inigo Montoya was
Inigo Montoya.
I thought that was Oh no, I'm thinking. Okay. No, I was thinking of because I know him from. He's in Criminal Minds also.
Criminal Minds. I couldn't remember the name of that show. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking Joe Mantegna, and he's also in Criminal Minds.
Oh yeah.
And he was actually in one of the movies that we just reviewed. Earth Girls Are Easy. He was in there. He was the DJ.
Yep.
But okay, yeah.
Catherine O'Hara is in Dick Tracy. She's been in a lot of stuff. Just massive. The one guy's just labeled as kid. I think he looks familiar. His face looks familiar in this picture, but I haven't seen this movie in forever. Dick Tracy. It's not on anything for new people that might be watching. We used to just watch movies that we could get on streaming services, but we kind of stopped that recently. Just knife the camera over and over. Yeah, I had to watch Batman on a totally legit website.
Yeah, that one that you sent me.
Yes.
Yeah, I that is what I use too. That's totally legitimate. I mean, I went and rented it from a totally legitimate website.
As in the early days of this, in the early episodes, we took an oath.
Right. Yeah. I try to do that because that only I I had to use my phone this time. That's why I like to take an oath, because
Yeah.
I can use my TV when I do that, but couldn't do it now.
I had to stop using it because I had to stop because it stopped working.
You might need to upgrade it. I actually, I had tried to. I was like, told my wife she was going to go to Owasso, and I was like, "Hey, can you stop by Family Video and pick Batman up for me on your way back?" And she said, "Family Video closed 3 years ago." And I was like, "No way! There is no way!" I feel like we had just gone there to rent a movie.
I think they went out of business.
The COVID shut it down. It was the pandemic. It was like 3 months in, it couldn't survive.
Which one were you going to?
The one in Owasso,
Oh, so
off
the one in Pryor.
86th Street.
The one in Pryor also closed down.
Sucks.
So, funny story about that. After we get off here, which I think we're gonna end this.
Yeah. End it.
I think that's gonna be it. I don't got anything else. I was trying to remember if there's anything else. Like, comment, subscribe, downvote it if you don't like it. But if you don't like it, leave us a comment. Tell us what you didn't like about it. We won't do anything about it.
Yeah. But at least we'll know, and then we can laugh about it as we're doing it. We're like, oh, remember when that person said they didn't like how we...
You will get a shout out in our video by us.
Yeah. Sure. If I see it, I'll shout you out.